ESPN's Saturday Showcase presented by 5-Hour Energy rolls on. This is the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire, and it continues in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where it's going to be a very emotional day. Much more on that coming up later. But I am Rich Hollenberg alongside Chris Patola. And Chris, we have a reunion of sorts between two of the most talked about freshmen in the country.
Cade Cunningham, Moses Moody, they've known each other since the 8th grade. They were roommates for the last 2 years at High School Power Montverde, and now they face each other as collegiate players. It's a crazy story. Cade Cunningham, as we know, won't start here today, Rich, but it'll be interesting when he does get in. Has missed the last 2 games. In a game of this pace, what's his shape like?
That's one of the headlines coming in. We have a lot of common threads with these two programs, not the least of which is the late, great Eddie Sutton, who had his court dedicated with a Hall of Fame sticker before the opening tip. We'll have that coming up in just a little bit as well. Your officials this afternoon, Kip Kissinger is on the call with Brett Smith and Brooks Wells. And it's the Arkansas Razorbacks in their road cardinal red uniforms, the white unis for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And there you see Moses Moody. He is the leading scorer as a freshman for Eric Musselman's Razorbacks. They go inside. That's where both of these teams like to do damage. It's tipped back out. Here's Justin Smith, the grad transfer from Indiana. Gives it off to Vanover. No. And the rebound to Oklahoma State. Here comes Isaac Ice Likely. Good swing around. And Avery Anderson opens the scoring for Cowboys with the 3.
Oklahoma State plays downhill in transition, and that shot created by Ice Likely, extra pass for 3.
Here's Bryce Williams, the former SEC player with Ole Miss, gets in the scoring column with 2.
Both these teams in the top 50 in pace. They both play fast.
Moses Moody in the scoring column. He's the 4th leading freshman scorer in the country. Cade Cunningham, the 2nd leading freshman scorer. We'll be seeing Cade early and often, we expect. Off the window, high arcing shot from Avery Anderson, who's got 2 early buckets.
Oklahoma State has shown a lot of zone this year, more than they have the past couple years. Rich picking up 3-quarter court just to force Arkansas to take some time to slow them down. But this zone has been porous to start this game. Wide open gaps.
Likely. He can post up as a guard. He's like a linebacker out there, but that time Kissinger calls him for the offensive foul. Well, there's Mike Thornton in his 4th season as the head man in Stillwater. Turned 39 years old earlier this month. A Brooklyn native, was an assistant for Brad Underwood at Oklahoma State, and then took over the head job. And he has really brought back the defensive identity of these Cowboys that Henry Iba and Coach Eddie Sutton both endorsed back in the day. Here's Vanover, the 7-footer who can shoot it from 3, but he turned it over on the wing. Chris, you think turnovers could be a big key in this game?
Yeah, both these teams are turnover prone, and in part because they both play really fast. When a game like this today, you can't play fast at the expense of execution. Already 3 turnovers between both teams.
And that's another easy bucket down the middle of the lane, and Bryce Williams has 4. All the Oklahoma State scoring coming from 2 players, Williams and Anderson.
That's the area, Rich, where Arkansas struggles. They have really struggled all year to guard off the bounce.
Likely off the hands of M.A. Moncrief, and now with the first timeout at 16:38 in the first half, we see Cade Cunningham for the first time. If you haven't seen him play yet, Chris, What do we expect from Cade Cunningham?
He is completely in control. You know, the thing that impresses me about both these freshmen in this game, Rich, is the only thing about them that says freshmen is their student ID. I mean, they are wise beyond their years, both of these guys. But as I said at the top, when you take time off, particularly in this era of COVID, and you miss 2 games, in a game like this, which is going to be a track meet, I'll be curious to see, you know, if he's able to get that first win, second win, what his shape looks like early in this game.
As you mentioned, he and Moses Moody were roommates for 2 years at Montverde. First time playing against each other as college players. JD Note with the step back 3. It's good. These teams don't rely on the 3 much, but they can shoot it and get hot.
Everybody's trying to be like James Harden these days. That ain't going to fly in a college game. It just hasn't come down to the college game quite yet, but everybody wants to put it in their game.
And there's an answer 3 from the corner for Oklahoma State. Avery Anderson, a hot hand early on. Set back by Williams. 15:45, we have our first media timeout of the afternoon. When we return to Stillwater, we remember the 10.
Businesses.
You were looking at the Remember the 10 Memorial, which is inside Gallagher-Iba Coliseum, just outside of Eddie Sutton Court, where this game between Oklahoma State and Arkansas is being played. From our homes to yours, Rich Hollenberg in Florida, Chris Spatola in North Carolina. Eddie Sutton was the coach at the time that horrific plane crash happened that took the lives of 10 members of the Oklahoma State basketball family. And Coach Sutton, a Hall of Famer for his coaching, but also a Hall of Famer in life. And he really carried that Oklahoma State program through that most difficult time that took place 20 years ago, Chris.
He did, and this school's done an unbelievable job remembering those 10 people. I think anytime someone loses a life in the line of duty in an occupation you share with them, in this case 10 people, I don't care if it's military, medical, or a collegiate basketball program, you feel that. And a lot of these guys weren't even alive. You know, obviously very young when it happened. But this program and Coach Sutton leading the way have remembered those people in the right way.
Yeah, Mike Boynton told us yesterday that he talked very in detail to his team about Remember the 10. And he said, raise your hand if you were alive. And only about half of them did. The half that didn't raise their hand, they weren't around. But the ones that did, they were about 3 years old or even younger than that. So every year, this Oklahoma State program makes sure that not only the basketball team remembers and pays homage to those 10 who lost their lives on January 27th, 2001, but also everyone around the basketball family. The entire Oklahoma State University family remembers. Today, it just so happens that they're remembering against a team that Eddie Sutton had strong ties to as well, the Arkansas Razorbacks. And we'll have much more on that coming up later in this telecast. (13-6) game. The Cowboys in the lead. Both of these teams being projected in the tournament as we speak. There's a nice take by Justin Smith. He has his second field goal of the game.
He missed some time with an ankle injury. He is, you can tell, Rich, he's starting to feel better, Justin Smith. A very good face-up driver. Really a physical player.
There's another Oklahoma State turnover. And a tough bucket. Here's another turnover. Arkansas loves to run. That time it's blocked out of bounds and a stoppage of pay. 14:08 on the clock.
Arkansas is at their best when they are driving hard and cutting hard. They have a tendency to settle and fall in love with a three-point shot. Oklahoma State started the game in a 2-3 zone, Rich, And Arkansas cut that up to start. Mike Boynton goes to the man-to-man, and Arkansas continues to drive it hard to the basket to finish at the rim.
Well, we'll have a full slate of college hoops tonight, culminating with these two matchups on ESPN. And they're big ones. Number 15, Kansas, taking on number 18, Tennessee, in our Sonic Blockbuster. That's at 6 Eastern. Then we have the number 1 team in the nation, Gonzaga, taking on Pepperdine for a West Coast Conference clash. The Zags, one of now 3 remaining undefeated teams in the country. Well, 6 minutes gone by, a 2-point game. At this pace, you said both teams like to go downhill. Does this pace favor either the Cowboys or the Razorbacks, Chris?
You know, I think ultimately, just what I've seen to this point in the season, Rich, I think Oklahoma State executes better in the half court, particularly with Cade Cunningham back. So I think if you're Oklahoma State, you can live with a slower pace, particularly because you're better up front and you're better on the glass.
Arkansas in the midst of a 7-1 run to cut this Oklahoma State lead to 2. Here's Likely. All the way to the hole, but he's called for the offensive foul.
And that's a scouting report charge. I mean, it's the first thing. When Isaac Likely gets himself started downhill, you've got to step in. And that is a courageous play, man, by Jalen Tate, because Likely is barreling down full speed. He is not a light dude. That is a big-time charge.
Tate, the best defensive player that Eric Musselman has in his 2nd season at Fayetteville. That jumper is short, but a fresh 20. And a quick 3, maybe ill-advised by J.D. Notae. Cunningham's in the post. They couldn't find him. Now he has it on the wing.
Nice pass.
Nice feed and an easy flush by Caleb Boone.
And what a decision. You know, he gets the charge on the last play, trying to finish all the way, and there he draws help and no rotation behind.
Isaac Likely, one of just 5 major conference players to lead his team in rebounds and assists. Nice take. That's Devo Davis, his 2nd bucket of the afternoon. Davis, one of the prized recruits coming in this year, staying home and going to Arkansas. He's from Jacksonville. Moses Moody from Little Rock. Jalen Williams from Fort Smith, Arkansas. We haven't talked about him, but I know you're a big Jalen Williams fan.
I love Jalen Williams. I do, and Oklahoma State recruited him pretty hard. You know, he changed. Look, he goes up and down as most freshmen do, but he changed their Auburn game. You know, I thought he completely turned that thing around, and then Desi Sills went off.
Well, much to the chagrin of Mike Boynton, Chris, you forecasted accurately. It's a 2-point game, mostly because Arkansas has 7 points off Oklahoma State turnovers. Devo Davis, originally an Oklahoma State commit, ranked 89th in Paul Biancardi's ESPN 100 coming out of high school. Rondell Walker in the game, off on his first shot. Offensive rebound, and Boone doing work. He is now 13 for his last 13 field goal attempts, Chris.
One of the things Eric Musselman talked to us yesterday about this Oklahoma State team, he said we have to defensive rebound, and they had that one. Just ended up coughing it up, and Boone had an easy layup. We've got the track meet we want. We've got the track meet we want, Rich. We've got threes, perimeter shooting, driving to the basket, a frenetic pace early.
Alongside Chris Mottola, Rich Hollenberg in Stillwater, the continuation of the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire, and the home team, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, with a 4-point lead over Arkansas, due largely to the fact that they've shot 7 for 8 from the field to start, Chris.
Yeah, everything at the basket. Their defense has been a bit porous, though. They've gone back and forth between the man and zone.
It was a near turnover, but Arkansas will retain possession, and only 5 on the shot clock. Now 2 to shoot. They do. The left-hand runner no good from Sills. Battle for the loose ball taken by the Cowboys. And that's the 8th Oklahoma State turnover this afternoon.
Yeah, they just don't look comfortable. And they haven't looked comfortable in their early offense. You know, they've looked much better when they've come down and run something. You got to know where you are on the floor. I mean, you can't set yourself up with a foot out of bounds.
Here's Note with the ball, number 1 in Cardinal red. He's led this Razorbacks team in scoring 5 times this season. And he puts this one up and knocks it down. Second field goal of the game gives him 5.
You've mentioned it, Rich. Shot selection has been an issue for Note. I'll tell you what, though, he believes he should be scoring the ball. He is hyper-aggressive and can really get it going. Really a talented scorer.
Shortchanged him a bucket, Chris. He has 7 now. Anderson, high off the window, no. The follow doesn't go, but the tip does by Caleb Boone. Williams down the right side. On the crossover, drew the foul on Note. Well, the SEC Big 12 Challenge coming into this season, Chris, last 4 seasons, 20 wins, 20 losses for both conferences. Today, it's another close one. SEC has 3 wins, Big 12 has 2 wins. You need 5 to clinch because there are only 9 games being played this year due to the fact that Kentucky and Texas had to be canceled on this slate.
Interesting to see Oklahoma taking down Alabama, the best team in the SEC.
Yeah.
Earlier today, that Oklahoma team starting to play really good basketball.
How about 3 straight wins against ranked teams for Lon Kruger and company? We'll be seeing them in person next Saturday against Iowa State, but they are now squarely in the NCAA tournament in the eyes of our Joe Lunardi. Texas A&M took down Kansas State on the road. Florida gets a huge road win against 11th ranked West Virginia. That'll help their NCAA tournament resume. Texas Tech wins on the road, 76-71 in comeback fashion. No Cade Cunningham on the floor for Mike Boynton and the Cowboys. He's seen the floor time only about 2 or 3 minutes so far in the first half. Missed the last couple of games due to COVID protocols. But here's his former roommate, Moses Moody, with his second bucket. Looks like Cade Cunningham might be checking back in. We'll see when we return with 9:11 to go.
Would you rather eat in the car or eat at the dinner table at home? About to eat in the car.
You can turn on some tunes, dancing, eating. You know how weird we'd look if we did this at the kitchen table?
Sonic Wacky Pack.
Right now, we just having a good time.
On the left, Moses Moody. He was ESPN's number 45 high school recruit coming out of the high school ranks, courtesy of Paul Biancardi. On the right, that's Cade Cunningham, number 1 consensus high school player of the year. They were roommates for 2 years at Montverde. Now playing against each other in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Demi Moncrief, another heralded freshman. And take a look at this, projected 2021 NBA first-round picks, all teammates at Montverde last year.
Yeah, it's a high school powerhouse. The head coach down there, a guy named Kevin Boyle, who's been a great high school coach for a long time, coached up in New Jersey for a period there for a while. Coach Kyrie Irving up there, coached Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He's just coached a lot of really good players. And it's amazing that class he had coming into college this year. All of those guys are having terrific seasons.
Here's Cade with the ball, number 2 in white. So far, Cade has yet to get in the scoring column, but Chris, we've seen him enough to know that the first half isn't where he does his damage mostly.
Well, and not only that, Rich, he hasn't played. You know what I mean? And who knows what he's been able to do in practice. It's not easy, and particularly in a game like this where it's so fast-paced, timing and instinct, it becomes so important.
Cunningham turned it over there off the deflection. Good hands, tipping it out of bounds from Moncrief. It'll be Arkansas basketball when we return, tied at 21. Thank you, KC. One of the reasons that this is such a fun break in the conference schedule, Chris, is you usually get some really good matchups like we have here, tied at 21, Arkansas and Oklahoma State. But the Big 12 definitely can lay claim to being the best overall conference in major college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, look, comparing conferences, and this year you'd compare the Big 12 and the Big 10. It's a bit apples to oranges. So I mean, I would agree with you. I think in terms of just pound for pound, the Big 12. But you know, this event's great. It's great for fans. It's great for media. It's great for TV. I don't know if coaches necessarily like it, stepping out of conference at this time of the year to have to play a different opponent, particularly in a pandemic. But you get some compelling matchups, and this Oklahoma State team is relentless, particularly the Boone brothers and then Matthew Alexander Moncrief. They really only send the 2 guys to the offensive glass, and both those guys are long, they're physical.
So that last call was over the back on Caleb Boone, so count that as another turnover for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That would be 12 turnovers in the first half. They average 15 a game, and that's too many for Mike Point. This shot, here comes Arkansas. Chance to take the lead, but they cough it up. Cunningham with the ball. He's guarded by Jalen Tate. Now the steal by Cunningham. And the feed to Moncrief.
That's what Moncrief has to be. Play off, catch, and finish. Don't try to cross over from the top of the key and drive it 23 feet.
Moncrief coming off back-to-back double-doubles. Here's a 3 from the corner, in and out. Vanover rebounds. Tate, and he was blocked, no whistle. Cunningham takes it himself. Oklahoma State with a 23-21 lead. And now Cunningham will go to the line trying to get his first points of the afternoon. His first points in 2+ great games, Chris, and you've mentioned this a couple times. It's tough coming back when you've missed a couple of games, especially when it's due to COVID protocols. Take us inside the mind of Cade Cunningham. Well, we've got two great matchups for you coming your way on Big Monday. Duke taking on Miami at 7 Eastern. Then the Big 12 has the matchup of the night. Number 24 Oklahoma heading to Lubbock to face number 10 Texas Tech. Both of those teams getting big wins today in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Note, deep three short, and Rondell Walker clears. Good spacing by the Cowboys. Here's Cunningham on the baseline, guarded by Sills. Cunningham, left hand, no. Offensive rebound, Caleb Boone, and he makes another one. Caleb Boone is now 4 for 4 from the field and 15 for his last 15 in the last 2+ games. Sills, and he stops an 8-0 Oklahoma State run with a triple. There's Cunningham from the wing. No good. Step out three, Note, and Cunningham has the rebound. There's Boone working on the freshman Williams. Caleb Boone, patient, and knocks it down again. The mid-range working. Smith misses, but it's picked off by Sills. Leaves it for Smith for an easy two.
It's a killer. I mean, it's a perfect example of you can't try to run, you can't try to play fast at the expense of execution. Just not a good outlet pass there by Cade Cunningham, and it leads to a bucket.
Likely will try it from three. That's not his specialty, and he misses from beyond the arc. Nice bounce pass, but it's pinned by Oklahoma State. Here's Cunningham. He got the foul. And with 3:41 to go, we'll take a timeout on the floor. Oklahoma State up by 3 on the Hogs.
Time report, Rich.
Thank you, Kevin. We look forward to that. 3:41 to go until that E-Trade halftime report. Rich Hollenberg, Chris Spatola. Chris, over the last 2+ games, what's gotten into Caleb Boone?
I think he's just playing without being too much in his head, Rich. You know, early in the year, he was thinking too much. I think he was obsessing over every mistake. He's really talented. I mean, he's super long. He's a good athlete. He had his best game as a college player in that game the other day against Baylor. You know, in Oklahoma State as a team, you know, went toe-to-toe with Baylor for 25 minutes in that game. And he was a big part of that. They need him because he gives them a dimension up front. He and Moncrief, as Moncrief and Rondell Walker and Boone have gotten better, this Oklahoma State team have gone to another level.
Moncrief misses both free throws. Arkansas could tie things up with a triple. Coming in winners of their last 3 games to get back in the SEC conversation. There's good hands. by the Oklahoma State defense and a takeaway from the Cowboys. Cunningham, low post,
Nice.
yes.
Well, they'll post their guards. They post Cunningham in likely, and that's good. It's good for Cade to get a bucket. You know, he missed the three a few possessions ago. You know, put yourself down there on that block with your 6'8" frame and go to work.
Eight on the shot clock. Here's Smith, turns and hits. Justin Smith leading the Hogs with 10. A deep three, way off the mark. Here comes Likely. Cunningham working on Smith. Forced it up, no good. Offensive rebound, and it's taken away. 15 Oklahoma State turnovers. That's what's kept Arkansas in the game so far. Jalen Tate can't rattle it home. Sills picks it up and puts it down.
When Desi Sills plays well, this team typically plays well. He was preseason second team all SEC, been a little bit up and down. But I'll tell you what, he was dynamite in their win over Auburn. They were down 20-9 to Auburn in that game to start it. Storm back in the second half as Cunningham drills one. And Desi Sills a big part of that.
First three of the game from Cunningham. He leads this team in three-pointers made. That was his 20th this season. Here's Cunningham with a nice bounce pass in transition.
That's what this team missed when he was gone, was that other facilitator, that other table setter. And Ice Likely, I thought, you know, hasn't been his best offensively in the last couple games without Cade. Cade being back certainly takes pressure off of Likely, but they are much better, as you saw there, in transition with another handler, another passer.
The left-handed jumper's good from Devo Davis, who now has 8. About a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Cowboys up by 4 in this SEC Big 12 Challenge. Here's Cunningham. Now 10 on the shot clock. Likely on the curl. Spins, can't hit. Last shot time for the Hogs. Here's Moody. Pulls up and knocks it down and gets the foul.
Big time. I mean, he is a really talented scorer, and he's dynamite in the mid-range because he gets to his spot, rises up, and he's a really good jump shooter.
Moody can't convert the three-point play, but it's a 2-point game out of bounds with 0.6 to go. It'll stay Oklahoma State basketball. Cunningham triggers the inbounds, throws it close, and they get the bucket. What a momentum builder for the Cowboys. The last shot of the half, Cunningham gets the assist.
You know, Cade Cunningham in the last minute, he got the post up, and he's been outstanding since that moment. What a play, and that's just a defensive breakdown. And I don't know exactly what Moses Moody's doing there. Good way to go in a half.
Cunningham, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Now we go to the E-Trade halftime report. KC, take it away. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy rolls on from Stillwater, Oklahoma, where the Oklahoma State Cowboys have themselves a 4-point halftime lead over the Arkansas Razorbacks 38-34. Alongside Chris Spatola, I'm Rich Hollenberg. We finally get to see Cade Cunningham again. Chris, how did he do in the first half?
Well, he didn't start the game, and this is probably a guy who has not started a game in a long time. And he hasn't played for 2 games. So I thought he was a little shaky to start. You could tell he was a little bit winded. His legs weren't completely back. But this was the play I thought that got him going, Rich. The post up there where he got a bucket, turnover here, but he nails a 3 on this next possession after that post up. And then I thought he had a bounce to his step. He had a zest to his game. And as we know, he has been better in second halves this year. We'll see if the way he finished that first half gets him going.
And he is on the floor to start the second half for Mike Boynton. And immediately, Oklahoma State gets a turnover. But they give it right back. Well, Oklahoma State shot 55% from the field, yet they're only up 4 because of all the turnovers.
And I said to you at half, I said, this is a bizarre game. You know, you have to shoot 55% when you have 15 turnovers in order to be up in a game like this. It was a bizarre half. I think both teams were kind of feeling each other out. Look at this.
Nice lob from Tate to Vanover. Credit some Cowboys defense as well, because they held one of the fastest paced teams in the nation to 36 points. That's well below their scoring average. Eric Musselman's Razorbacks, Chris, number 29 in the country, or 27th in the country in tempo.
Well, when you're making shots, so Oklahoma State shot well, you know, teams taking it out of the net, that's going to slow you down. Turnovers, there weren't as many live ball as Cade gets going, man. But there weren't as many live ball turnovers, Rich, which allowed the runouts for Arkansas.
3 from the corner, and an answer from Desi Sills. Check that, that's Moses Moody.
And I'm ready. I am here for this. Let's go. Coming to an NBA draft soon. I'm ready for this one.
Former basketball teammates at Montford. Former ping pong partners as well. Moses told us a funny story. He said their junior year, they roomed together. Their room was so small that their beds were basically right next to one another. If they were facing in opposite directions, sometimes they'd wake up when their alarm goes off and they were staring at each other in the face. That's how close Moses Moody and Cade Cunningham are.
Terrific players. I mean, just terrific players. And you know, as most freshmen of that level are now, they are wise beyond their years. There's a pros mentality in everything that they do. Their preparation, their off-the-court stuff, their Instagram, their Twitter. It's all about, you know, that pros mindset, and both these guys have it. And I said at the top, you know, the only thing that tells you they're freshmen is their student ID. Otherwise, everything else about them is wise beyond their years.
I need a pros mindset on my Instagram account. How do I do that, Spatola?
Spend a lot of money finding a pros mindset on Instagram.
Oh, man. Speaking of pros, Eric Musselman has had his taste of the NBA, was a 2-time coach with Sacramento and Golden State. Now making some hay, first in Nevada, where he had a lot of success, and now with Arkansas. And there's a bucket from close range, bringing the Hogs to within 2. That one goes off the hands, but it's saved by Likely. Bounce pass surrounded by Hogs. And waiting to find out what the call was on that. Was it a foul on Vanover?
I think it was a jump ball. And really a good play by Justin Smith to initially tie that thing up.
Contested 3, no good. Here comes Moody. Moses Moody has 9. Cade Cunningham has 10. Here's Moody for 3. Got it.
That's what he does best, Rich, and that's what he is going to be coveted for as a pro. He is dynamite with his feet set. A really good perimeter shooter. Good release, repeatable release.
Gives Arkansas their first lead since 21-19 in the first half. And now a chance to extend that lead. Smith slips on the drive, and they're going to call a foul on Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. It looks like, I mean, he just slips. I'm with Cade on that. There was some body when the drive initially started, but they let that go, and he does. He just slipped on his own feet. You know, that's a foul, to be honest with you, but not called, and then ultimately he just falls down.
This is part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Cunningham. Arkansas 5 for 5 from the field to start this half. And they make it 6 for 6. Not that time. They get an extra 20 seconds off the tip back. Jalen Tate.
Nice.
Taking a lot of time, and it's going to be an Arkansas turnover.
And you know who makes that play is Caleb Boone. By coming over to help, he deterred that shot and ultimately forces the travel. Good heads-up play there by Boone.
Boone leading the way for the Cowboys with 10 points and 8 rebounds in the first half. Cunningham, give him the assist and another triple for Oklahoma State. That's Rondell Walker's first points of the game. Sills blocked. M.A. Moncrief with the swat. Transition. Buckets for Ice Likely. Oak State back up by 2. Defense leading to offense. Smith turns it over. Here come the Cowboys. Walker. Yes, again.
The future lottery picks starting to heat up. Cade Cunningham on one end, Moses Moody, his former roommate, with the answer. Both guys are wet.
With Chris Patola, I'm Rich Hollenberg. It's been an embarrassment of riches for Kevin Boyle, the head coach at Montverde, and his latest, Cade Cunningham on the right, Moses Moody on the left. They won't be long for the college game, Chris. They'll be joining those Montverde alum in the NBA sooner than later.
With the amount that we have pumped Montverde today, I'm hoping that Montverde's admissions department is going to get in contact with our producer, Paul Irvin, and thank him, a nicely worded thank you note. That is what they call a high school factory, Rich. I mean, the talent is oozing.
Both showing out today. Moody with 11. Cade Cunningham stuffing the stat sheet as usual. That one goes down for Arkansas. So 14 points for Justin Smith, 11 points for Moody. Everyone else relatively quiet for Eric Musselman's Razorbacks. We have a turnover and a timeout on the clock. 14-16 to go. Oklahoma State up 3. Oklahoma State leads by 3, Chris. This has been a pretty evenly matched contest, and that's not the only thing that's in common with these two teams.
No, they have very similar profiles, Rich. It's almost like looking in the mirror. You know, when I look in the mirror, not only is it very disturbing, but it's a little bit unsettling. And I think both these teams, I mean, look, you've got these two guys, and you can imagine both of them had some pressure coming in, wanted to show the other guy up or at least outperform the other guy. They both play at a fast tempo. It's very similar teams, and the game has played out that way.
Count the bucket for Jalen Tate. He's been doing yeoman work on the defensive end. Now he gets in the scoring column and a chance at a three-point play.
And a good drive, and that's where this game, I think, down the stretch, Rich, is finishing at the basket, both in the half court and in transition. Both these teams have spurt ability. And the question is, can anybody put together a sustained run here at some point to give some separation?
That three-point play gets completed by Jalen Tate, and we are knotted up at half 100. 6 minutes gone by in the second half. Oklahoma State representing the Big 12, trying to even the tote board in this SEC Big 12 challenge. That's going to be a foul on Jalen Tate guarding Cade Cunningham.
You know, another guy we haven't said a lot about today is Ice Likely. He's only taken 3 shots, only has 2 points. Hasn't really been a major factor and does have 5 turnovers. He's going to have to be the Ice Likely that we know down the stretch of this game.
Gives it up to Boone. Caleb Boone misses from close range. That was challenged by the Hogs. Moses Moody with the ball. Cunningham guarding Tate. 8 on the shot clock. And they're going to call Jalen Tate for the traveling violation. Some good defense from Cade.
He ended up having to dribble it too much. Watch here. They don't leave Moses Moody. Avery Anderson does not leave Moses Moody, so there's no kick out. I think they're used to, Tate is used to, when there's that penetration, there's help off that strong side corner. It did not come. It was nicely defended, and a good job staying with the ball and continue to pressure.
Three-pointer off the mark. The rebound to Moody. It's Moses Moody's 3rd rebound of the afternoon. Vanover, he can shoot it. Too strong that time. Avery Anderson wants to run. Likely. Left hand, no. Offensive rebound. Boone with the putback.
Tell you what, how good has he been? Not just today, over the last few games, and I always remember a few games ago, Mike Boynton saying, we need his energy. We need him every game.
He's got 12 points, and he's 1 rebound away from a double-double. Moody smooth off the window. You heard the Arkansas coaching staff saying, dig. No one did, and Caleb Boone took control. And that one goes down. Here's a corner 3 try, and it's good. Avery Anderson, his first bucket of the second half.
mean, Anderson is not a three-point shooter per se, but my goodness, I mean, he had an entire pasture of space. I don't know what the defense was doing, ball watching, ice likely.
And a three answered by J.D. Notae. Tied at 57. Under 11 minutes to go in this one. Cunningham out to Anderson, same spot, thought about it. Now back to Cade, gives it up. Boone. And they call a jump ball, 10:30 to go.
Caleb Boone, a different man than he was a month ago, has taken his game to another level. So active today around the basket. Going here against 7'3" Connor Vanover. You're too light, Vanover.
He built a Hall of Fame career. Eddie Sutton, 37 seasons as a D1 head coach, finding major success at Arkansas, taking the Hogs to the '78 Final Four. 5 years later, Sutton came home to Oklahoma State, where he'd spend the next 16 years taking the Pokes to 2 Final Fours, 806 wins in all, and finally, last April, Eddie got the call to the Hall. Eddie Sutton passing peacefully a month later at the age of 84. And earlier today before the game, Chris, his son, assistant coach for Mike Boynton, Scott Sutton on the left, and as Arkansas assistant Corey Williams, who played for Eddie Sutton at Oklahoma State on the right, they unveiled the Naismith sticker under the name of Eddie Sutton, which bears the name on the court that they play on today.
Eddie Sutton dotted great generations of this sport. He played against Wilt Chamberlain. He coached against Bird and Jordan. He was one of the last guys you could trace back to when college basketball really started to take off in the 1940s and 50s. You know, he lived an extraordinary life, and not all of it was good. I mean, there were some tough obstacles to overcome, some tough times both personally, professionally, but what a gift he was to the sport. Man who lived a full life.
And when you talk to people around Oklahoma State, I mean, he was beloved in Stillwater, but a lot of them point to the moment that he took the stage at the memorial for remembering the 10 after that horrific plane crash 20 years ago. And he really lifted not only the basketball team and the families, but the university and the community as a whole. That's part of his lasting legacy. 62-57, Arkansas with the lead now with 9:28 to go, in an entertaining game that Eddie Sutton certainly would be enjoying, because defense comes first with Eddie Sutton, and no one knows that better than Corey Williams, who played for him and then went on to play in the NBA. Here's Likely. The drive met at the rim by Moody. And saw a chance to extend their lead. Here's Notae, the heat check, no good. And it's going to be Oklahoma State basketball.
That's not a good shot. That's one of those shots that J.D. Notae has become notorious for. You can get that shot at any point in the shot clock. And again, I know you want to play fast, but we're under 10 minutes here in a 5-point game. You can come up with a better shot than that.
Top of the key. I don't think that touched the rim. It's going to be Arkansas basketball. Razorbacks in the midst of an 8-0 run. So we saw Notae with the miss. What have the Hogs been doing so well on the offensive end, Chris?
Well, they've made some perimeter shots, first and foremost. And I'll tell you what, their defense, Rich, over the last couple minutes here has stood up.
Smith, aggressive, no. Moncrief clears. He drew the foul. So Rondell Walker will go to the line to shoot 2. Defense is really his calling card, but he's come on offensively lately, Chris.
He's making shots. Yeah, you said it. He is making shots. 8 of 17 from 3 in his last 3 games. But a good decision there to not settle. He puts it on the floor, drives the ball hard, gets himself to the foul line.
And he makes the first one. Well, full slate of college hoops tonight, culminating with these 2 major matchups on ESPN. 15th ranked Kansas, 18th ranked Volunteers. Our Sonic blockbuster tips off at 6 Eastern. Then we have the #1 team in the nation, Gonzaga, taking on Pepperdine for a West Coast Conference clash.
Be interesting if a team in Kansas that couldn't manage 20 by the half against TCU, if they are able to score tonight against a Tennessee team that holds teams to 59 points a game.
Right now, Joe Lunardi has 6 SEC teams in the Big Dance and 7 for the Big 12. The biggest difference there, Chris, the Big 12 only has 10 teams in their league.
Right, right.
.808 to go. Right now, the SEC with a 3-2 edge on the Big 12 in the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Arkansas looking to add to that tally. They've got themselves a 4-point lead, 63-59 with that free throw. Rote makes them both. Lead is extended to 5. Here's Kate Cunningham with the ball, number 2 in white. Lightly banks in a 3.
That was a really good pass by Cade Cunningham. And he held his dribble and dragged the defense with him.
Likely almost comes up with the steal, and instead he's called with the foul at midcourt.
This is that pass from Cade Cunningham. This is a pro-level point guard play. Watch how he drags the defense off this ball screen. Drags him, and then a one-handed skip. And I'm going to call glass here for Ice Likely. I didn't hear it, but I'll call it for him.
Again, guys.
Thanks, KC. Villanova 3rd in the country. A lot of people giving a lot of love to those Seminoles, though, Chris.
Yeah, well, they've been trucking people in the ACC of late. They've been outstanding since they got back off their COVID pause. This would be a big win for Georgia Tech, who has talent. I think they've underachieved at times this year. But when those 2 guards, Alvarado and DeVoe, get it going, they are tough.
Five on the shot clock for the Hogs. Tough take. And Boone clears. Cade wants to run. Gives it up on the left wing. Circuit shot is up and in. Avery Anderson, hello. Can you say SC top 10 for that one, Chris?
He just never came down. I expected him to start coming down, and he was like still elevating.
That's levitation, Holmes. Knotted up again at 64. Vanover got it, his first 3.
And if he's going to be on the floor, that's what he has to do. He's got to hit threes because that's his differentiation at that size.
Chris, we're coming up on that 5-minute mark where Cade Cunningham has been at his best his freshman campaign. Here's an unforced error. 2-on-1. Smith finishes. He has 16. Just like that, a 5-0 spurt gives Arkansas a 5-point lead with 5:52 to go.
It was a bad turnover there from Avery Anderson, but I'll tell you what, this was dynamite right here. You call it levitation, Holmes. I call him Wonder Boy. He kept elevating. I mean, it was like You thought he'd come down, and nice English there to get the touch off that glass.
Well, we've got an old rivalry for tonight's NBA Saturday primetime on ABC and the ESPN app. LeBron, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers on their 7-game road trip, and it finds them in Boston to battle the Celtics. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern.
You know, one of my favorite players in the NBA, Rich, and has been since the day he got into the league, is Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a winner. He does all the things, and he's very self-aware. He's a good offensive player, not a great offensive player. But how can I make my impact? He's never afraid. There's no back down. He plays so hard. I love Marcus Smart.
And his cutout is here inside Gallagher-Iba Arena, where he did some work the last 2 years of his, or the first 2 years of his career. Now, Cade Cunningham trying to do a little bit of that as well.
And you said it a minute ago, he saves his best for late. A good crossover, and that is a really tough shot. I mean, that's not just a floater. His body is going to the left as he shoots that. That is a high-level finish.
Cunningham, an 82% free throw shooter, leads the Pokes, and he knocks that one down to complete the three-point play. So Cade with 13 points, 6 boards, and 5 dimes this afternoon. And he brings the Cowboys to within 2. Vanover from the other corner. Different result this time. Chance to tie or take the lead for Oklahoma State. Cade looks like he's playing with a little swag now, Chris.
He does.
Ten to shoot. Cade does, and knocks it down.
Some things that you can't teach. That's one of them.
Good hands by Likely with the steal. And he finishes at the other end. Back and forth we go.
And that can't happen if you're Oklahoma State. Somebody's got to know there's got to be defensive balance. You cannot allow a return layup on the break.
Moncrief looked like he wanted to dunk on the entire Arkansas team that time, and he drew the foul.
Here's a steal, and somebody's got to stay back. If it's Moncrief, and I know it's not normally his responsibility, but when you're the last guy down, you've got to maintain defensive balance. And he trailed the play all the way, Rich, and that's what gave Arkansas the run out and Moody the dunk on the other end.
Moncrief rattles home the first free throw. He's in double digits. Likely to the bench. Anderson back on the floor for Mike Boynton. He really has 3 point guards. If you consider Cade Cunningham a point guard at times, with Likely and with Anderson, he has 3 point guards on this roster.
Well, and I think we have the under 4 timeout coming, so I think Mike Boynton just trying to buy a little bit more of a break for Ice Likely. I'd imagine after that under 4 timeout, he's back in the game to finish.
And when it's closing time, Cade Cunningham has been at his best. Stay tuned. 73-71 Oklahoma State. And a traveling violation called on J.D. Notae. 14th Arkansas turnover. So here's Cunningham with the ball. In the corner, Walker, no. And a chance to tie or take the lead for the Razorbacks. Where would you go, Chris?
Oh, against the zone, you know, that corner 3 has been open. It's been a vulnerable spot.
Instead, it's Smith from the elbow, no. And Walker brings it up, gives it to Cunningham. He pulls the trigger, way off the mark. 3.5 left. Spin move, Davis, no. Vanover can't follow. And Oklahoma State comes away with it. 3:18 left. We got a ball game from Gallagher-Iba Arena. Stay with us. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire. For what you do. Thanks, KC. SEC Big 12 Challenge in Stillwater. We got a dandy 73-71 Oklahoma State with the lead. And they say youth is wasted on the young. At least Mark Twain said that. Not this afternoon. These two stud freshmen have come to play, Chris.
Yeah, they've been really good and have played within themselves. You know, down the stretch, it'll be interesting if Eric Musselman, Moody, of course, plays off the ball. If Muss, draws some stuff up for his stud freshman, and of course, Cade Cunningham, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot over the next 3 minutes.
Cade Cunningham has scored or assisted on 9 of the last 11 Oklahoma State points. Likely on the floor with foul trouble. Here he is with the ball in his hands, gives it up to Moncrief. Now Moncrief, aggressive, goes right at Vanover, but he turns it over. In transition, Moody with the throwdown.
Arkansas runs that soft trap to get the ball out of Likely's hands. He ends up giving it up to Moncrief a second time. Here it is again. And Moncrief decided he was going to challenge, and a good play by Vanover, leading to a break.
The lob and the throwdown by Boone. We are untied again. Boone with 16. No, the follow slam from Justin Smith with 18.
He's really tough. A 2-year starter at Indiana, transferred from Indiana here. He is really tough around the basket.
We've had 10 ties this ball game, Chris. Cunningham, what a tough two by Cade.
His body control is exceptional.
17 points for Cunningham, 10 in the second half. Here's a steal from Walker, but he couldn't control it. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be Arkansas ball.
He's 6'8" and a freshman. Through 2 guys, and then over the top of 7'3". Again, you can't really teach that. That is a lot of feel.
A special player is Cade Cunningham. Showing it again this afternoon. His first game back after a 2-game layoff, and he is starring right now. That one partially tipped, but Devo Davis got it to go.
Another freshman.
Coming up on 1 minute to go, it should be noted that 3 of Oklahoma State's 4 losses have come by a combined 7 points. No stranger to close games are these Cowboys. Arm wrestling for a loose ball, and it's a jump ball. It'll be Cowboys basketball in the possession era.
Cade Cunningham, this has to go to him. And I've liked it on the block, but they're coming with a double now. And I'd rather him getting something going to the basket.
Cunningham gives it up. Likely left alone. Now 3 to shoot. Likely does. Comes up short on the 3. Chase for the loose ball. Cleared by Rondell Walker. 15-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's Cunningham, the pull-up. Got it!
Oh! He is, first of all, He goes out and demands the basketball. I mean, you could hear him clapping, "Give me the ball." I love it. It gives me the chills. And then he's just so under control. He's not a great athlete, but he has the ability to get wherever he wants and then rise up with that 6'8" frame. And he's just got a wonderful delivery to the basket. You just can't speed him up. What a stop on a dime in the pull-up. That is high-level offense right there from Cade Cunningham.
We talked about Cade in the second half. Check that box. We talked about him, Chris, in the final 5 minutes being even better, and he has been again today. So 21 seconds to go. If you're Eric Musselman and down by 2, is that man Moses Moody, the ball going to him?
Well, the first question is, what defense is Oklahoma State in? They have changed it up here. If it's zone, I actually like Justin Smith catching it in one of those soft spots, foul line, and then driving it. If they're in man, I don't think there's any doubt Moses Moody is going to have the ball either off a crossing action, some sort of handoff.
And they're calling a jump ball. It'll stay with Arkansas.
Oh, and how big was that tie-up on the possession before for Arkansas? They now have the arrow.
2 timeouts remain for Arkansas. 1 timeout left for Mike Boynton in Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State still has fouls to give. They're in the bonus. And a foul with 13.2 to go. Tough to see what the call was on that.
They're going to Justin Smith, and there's no doubt that's a foul. I mean, just a little.
That's it for Isaac Likely.
Yeah. You don't have to be that aggressive.
So now Mike Boynton's going to have to seal this game without one of his premier players, Isaac Likely, who's fouled out with 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So another timeout called on the floor with 13.2 to go. All right. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tuesday, 11th ranked West Virginia takes on Iowa State at 7 Eastern, plus Kansas State battling number 15 Kansas at 8. And on Tuesday, February 11th, you can watch Cade Cunningham and the Cowboys hosting Iowa State. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12 now.
So the fortunate part, Rich, even though you lose Ice Likely, both teams only 6 fouls, so you're going to have to inbound the ball again if you're Arkansas underneath. And I imagine it's much of the same. Justin Smith coming off, and he's the guy, he's the guy who, if he puts his head down and drives it, chances are, at the very least, he can draw a foul. Plenty of time. You don't have to be in a hurry.
Both teams with 6 fouls, both teams in the bonus. It's going to be Justin Smith.
Yeah.
Vanover. Vanover. Top of the key, no. And a foul immediately after the shot. We apologize that the time in the middle of the 2 scores keeps disappearing time and again. Someone happens to be walking in front of that camera. There is 3.8 seconds left, and Cade Cunningham will be going to the line to shoot a 1-and-1 with his team up to 79-77. Cunningham knocks it down, giving him 20 points. And this is the big one, though, making it a two-possession ball game if he makes it. Cans them both.
He is smooth. He is dynamite. And he is, you made this point earlier, he is so good late in games. And he knows it. I mean, he has been so good. Look, he hasn't played in 2 games, and I thought early he was feeling himself out. I thought he got a little winded early, was getting his legs back. But he has gotten better and better as this game has gone on, and all of this stuff in the second half. You can't speed him up, and he's done it in a number of ways. There's the floater there with his body going left. He's hit perimeter shots, step backs. He's done it from the post. And here he just buries 2 free throws to ice the game. This guy, I'm telling you right now, he is going to be a fantastic pro. Size, dimensions, IQ for the game. He's got all the shots you need. Man, he is good.
There's 3.8 left. Oklahoma State's out of timeouts. Arkansas has 1 remaining. And you see Cade Cunningham, just a freshman, but he is the leader on the floor right now, especially with Ice Likely on the bench, having fouled out of the game. There's his former roommate at Montverde, Moses Moody, but his team is down 4. 2 huge free throws by Cunningham. And Cunningham steals it away and salts it away. Dominating in the second half was Cade Cunningham. 21 points, leads all scorers, 7 rebounds and 5 assists as well. And the Cowboys winning in the SEC Big 12 Challenge over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Your final from Stillwater, Oklahoma State 81 and Arkansas 77. That evens the SEC Big 12 Challenge at 3 apiece. For Chris Spatola, I'm Rich Hollenberg. So long from Stillwater.